Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Fintech Ki Baat Dil Se. Today we have Deepak Uniyal, who's the founder of Insurance Samadhan. Insurance Samadhan is one of the very few startups in Insurtech industries that's addressing the claims and grievance redressal for customers who have faced a lot of issues while buying policies or making claims and all of that. So Deepak, at this point, it would be great if you could go ahead and give us a quick background about yourself and Insurance Samadhan as a company.
Thanks, Shreyas. Thanks, Sagarika. First of all, let me just clarify. My full name is Deepak Bhuvaneshwari Uniyal. Bhuvaneshwari is my mother's name, so that's why it's important. Uh, so I have total 25, 26 years of work experience. Primarily, it has been in corporates, sales and building verticals. Born and brought up in Delhi. Primarily, I've come from hills. I'm from Uttarakhand. So after working with Federal Express, one of the largest cargo line in the world, I joined insurance. I was referred by a friend, and to be very honest, initially when I joined, like a typical professional salesperson, focus was to do numbers. Focus was to keep building and growing. Till the time I lost my one of my closest friend, and I had sold him an insurance policy. He didn't want to buy, like typically it happens. So I convinced him, made him understood, and sold him a policy. And after 9, 10 months, he died. He died of a very different, or I would say, very unheard disease. And that was a time when obviously it was a personal loss for me, but that was a time I realized the power of insurance. And this was just my first year in this industry, and giving that check of 32 lakh rupees to his wife, and can't share his name, but I would like to say that he had just got married 2, 3 years back, without family's consent. So they both were living separately. They had just bought a house for almost 20 lakh rupees loan. Wife wasn't working. So imagine in that scenario, a young widow, can't go back to the family. That 32 lakh rupees really came as it rescued her life financially. And that was the time I realized the power of insurance. And then, my thought process, my way to look at insurance totally changed. My passion for the insurance totally changed. And then obviously started working towards it. Then from 2005 till 2010, I was with Max Life Insurance. Realize that there's a big pain point that people do not understand insurance, and they are sold anything and everything. So I decided to take a plunge, and I became a full-time insurance advisor. I must say that I was the first AVP at that time who left his job doing very well and became a full-time insurance advisor. A lot of people thought that it was an insane decision, but I'm glad I did that. 8 years I sold insurance. I was managing HNI insurance portfolio, and that's when again I realized that misselling is mammoth. Cascading effect was claim rejection, and then finally with my co-founders took another plunge, started Insurance Samadhan, which was first of its own kind, unheard, no reference point. And today, I'm glad that we took that plunge.
That's very interesting, Deepak. I have one question. I was before coming on the podcast, I was going through the website and I noticed there are 5 co-founders that you have. I'm very intrigued by your journey personally, but I'd also kind of like to know on how did you guys end up meeting? How did it all fall in one place?
Yeah, so as I told you that in 2005 I joined Max Life Insurance, and that's where I met Shailesh and Shilpa. We were in Connaught Place, and Connaught Place, is a commercial hub of Delhi. So a lot of aggrieved customers used to walk into our office. And now typical KRA used to be to hold them, to convince them, to upsell and cross sell. But Shailesh was very clear. If you would realize that the complaint is genuine, if you would realize that the customer actually is suffering, so he would fight and for the customer and make sure that they get their claim or their premium back. And so we call him encyclopedia of insurance. He has amazing knowledge of insurance, and he always would feel for the customer. That's how we were working, three of us. Shilpa was heading the training in our office, and again, a very passionate person would always make sure that she trained the people right way, make them understand why insurance is important. So this is how we spent 5 years together in that office. And when I left Max Life and became a full-time insurance advisor in 2010, I was associated with the same office, and Shailesh was taking care of the branch. In 2014, a very senior Delhi police officer walked into the office, met Shailesh and me, and shared that his father, who was a senior citizen, was due for over a period of 6 years. He was sold 42 insurance policies with 38 lakh rupees of premium, and he assumed all of them were fixed deposits. And it was sold by the same person over a period of 6 years. Now,
Oh,
after the cop got to know, the best he could do was put this person behind jail. But surprisingly, he could not even get a single penny, because he did not know how to represent, what to ask. Uh, so then finally, when he met us through a reference, after understanding his problem, within a span of 5 months, we got his entire 38 lakh rupees back. And that was a trigger for us. If a person of that caliber is not able to get his money, it's extremely difficult for anybody else. And as I said, I was experiencing all this any which ways when I was selling insurance. So that was the time we decided in 2014 that me, Shilpa, and Shailesh, that whenever Shailesh retires, we will start something around this. So now back in 2011, I through a reference again, I met Sanjay, our fourth co-founder. He's a high court lawyer. He was missold a health insurance product, and that's how I met him, understood his product, helped him and got his money back, and gave him a right health insurance product. Then 2017 February, Shailesh retired, and four of us met. Sanjay could feel for the cause, and we decided to take the plunge. That's how Insurance Samadhan started. And our fifth co-founder Ravi, he joined us as a CTO in 2019 October, built the tech from the scratch. And we keep saying that he is more co-founder to Insurance Samadhan than all of us put together. So then finally, in just last fundraise, we promoted him as a co-founder, and that's how we complete our co-founding team.
That's amazing. And I think your personal experience with the close friend that you just spoke about, and we have a lot of mis-selling experiences that you all experienced. And of course, we have an encyclopedia of insurance in the team.
Yes.
So all of this together, we'd also love to know more about what are you exactly trying to build at Insurance Samadhan. A very quick brief about your company, if you can.
okay. If
Sure.
before we jump into that, something that really stuck out to me was that someone of that caliber was sold 42 insurance
Imagine.
policies disguised as FD. So if we could take a moment and slightly deep dive into that, and I want to understand what work as like how was that represented and what was that scenario like?
So, Shreyas, what happens is that elderly people, even I keep saying this to everyone, please go back and check with elders in your family as well. उनका पूरे जिंदगी भर का मेहनत उनके बैंक अकाउंट में रहता है. So what happens is, and they want to, obviously the money they have is they want to keep it for their next generation. So they're very gullible. So somebody, a broker or a banker or any I would say any seller would go to them and tell them that there's an opportunity, आपको fixed deposit से ज़्यादा interest मिलेगा और आप इसमें invest कीजिए. So they get trapped easily. Because it's an emotional pitch जो उनको दी जाती है, वो emotional pitch दी जाती है. So they don't talk about numbers. They just think यार ये पैसा fixed deposit से ज़्यादा return देगा और मेरे family के काम आएगा. So this was happening with this gentleman also. This cop was living in the same house. So once he would move out for his work, this chap would enter and converse with his father, and that's how he built his reputation with him over a period of 6-7 years, and kept selling policies saying that this is for your grandkids, and that's an emotional story which they sell. And then next year when renewal, so he has to pay the renewal next year. So this guy would say that this is another fixed deposit you're doing for your grandkids. And till the time when the cop saw those 42 policy packs one day, that these are our insurance policies, are not fixed deposit. And this is, if you ask me, out of 100 complaints we get, almost 25 to 30% complaints are of similar nature. An elderly person sold an insurance policy saying it is a fixed deposit, or an elderly person sold an insurance policy saying this is a single premium plan. And next year, after 1 year, this person gets to know that this is a regular insurance premium paying plan. And when they go back to with the complaint, they just hear one thing, that your policy has done more than 15-day free look period, nothing can be done. So 15 दिन में वैसे भी आप क्या समझोगे, because it's such a technical product that people don't understand, and seldomly somebody even knows that they have 15 days to go through the policy and they can return the policy if they don't like it.
Exactly. I just came to know about it right now.
Yes, so that's the story, and I'm telling you, please ask the elderly in your family. You may be surprised.
Definitely, I think this is a very what do you say, prominent problem. I think my mom retired a couple of years back, and people were like lining up to sell their insurance policies and ULIP and everything. And I'm like, no, just take that decision, consult with that, sit down, understand what you want to invest in, what kind of returns you want, and properly invest accordingly. Like probably some in equity, some in MF, and some in FD, whatever you want. But don't fall for that insurance piece over and over again. I think that is, after I had met you and heard this story earlier, so I was slightly on guard. But otherwise, I think you definitely have fallen for that.
And on the other side, I must touch upon this topic. Insurance is very, very important, extremely important. It's like, I keep saying that, in India, if you see in people normally in their 40s, early 40s or mid 40s are able to buy their first house. If you're brilliant in your professional life, you're doing very well, then maybe in your late 30s you'll be able to buy your first house. Imagine 10-15 साल काम करने के बाद you buy a house, and how many people in our country have insured their house? Hardly. And imagine natural calamities we've been seeing. North India lives in a seismic zone. कितने लोगों को पता है? Earthquake आया, आपका घर चला गया. Would you get that money again? It will take another 15-20 years to build that.
Exactly.
So insurance is basics, which is very important, and that's what also is needed to be understood.
Definitely. So, as you know, the question was that Sagrika had asked, how does Insurance Samadhan address this, and what exactly do you guys do?
Yeah, so we're in a very, very unique space. We come into the picture when you get to know that there's a misselling which has happened to you, or there's a fraud which happened to you, and your complaint has been rejected. So you have lost that 100 rupees. We come into the picture at that time. Or you had filed your claim. It can be life, health, or general insurance claim, and your claim got rejected. So this is the last leg of insurance journey, which nobody ever represented for the customer. And that's where we come in. And that's where we, as I said, we are in a very unique space.
Understood. So how does this process work? Like if I'm an end consumer and I realize that I have probably been missold something. So what happens next? How does it work?
Yeah. So, with our 50 years plus domain expertise, we productize this experience. So what we do is, first step is we understand your complaint in detail, which means we build a tech, we build a filtration process with this intelligence. It would understand whether your complaint is genuine in nature or not. And by genuine in nature, I mean that, does it have enough proof to represent? See, eventually insurance company has to, pass your claim or, say that, yes, you've been missold. So it is very important that, that communication has to be very strong. So we first understand and only pick up those complaints which have enough proofs to represent. And honestly, insurance company want to solve the complaint, but there's a huge communication gap. The policyholder doesn't know how to represent it. So we understand the complaint. If it is genuine, we help the policyholder in representing that complaint. I'll give you again an example. So like a elderly person, they come to us after a year that, I have got to know that this is not a fixed deposit, or I've got to know this is a regular premium paying policy. So our filtration process would ask them few objective questions. Did you sign the illustration form? So 30-40% chances are that they will say no. 60% chances are they say yes. The moment they say no, we did not sign, we pick up that complaint. If they say yes, we had signed the form, then the next question is, do you file an income tax return? Almost 60% people or 70% people say yes, we file an income tax return. People who say 30% we do not file an income tax return, we pick up that case as a bad case of financial underwriting, because you can't sell a policy if the person is not even earning, right? then 60% people or 70% people who file a return, we ask them further, what is the kind of return you file? If the return and premium is not matching, which means if the premium is more than 30% of the return they filed, again, we pick up that case as a bad case of financial writing. So similarly, these are 80 to 100 permutation combinations which we put in, and with its intelligence, we ask the questions and we pick up or say no to the complaint. And that's why we only accept 5 to 7% complaint on an average.
Okay. But I mean, I understand the filtration process, but if I look at it from a business perspective, doesn't that limit your top line to something?
Surely. So, Shreyas, these conversations keep happening. Otherwise, also, see, you have to understand it is a commercial business. We're a startup here to make it big and become profitable. But what is the underlying and most important factor is we're trying to change something. We're trying to solve a problem which nobody has ever solved, and we want to do it the right way. So we want to be very sure the complaint we represent are correct, and that's the reason insurance companies are happy in solving that. Ombudsman is happy in solving that, because if you pick up the wrong complaints, why would insurance companies solve them? And also we tell the customer, it's not that those 93% people where we say no to, we also give them a reason that the decision taken by the company was correct. Your complaint doesn't have enough proofs. So that's why it's very important. So you just got to do it the right way if you want to build the good and honest brand.
One question that I have here is, I think in India, insurance adoption is number one on a lower side, right? We don't have that kind of penetration. And then you all are further solving into those people who have been missold or missold the insurance, right? How, as a user, do I get to know about you or get an awareness about something like Insurance Samadhan exists, right? Because from my side, if I just came to realize that, oh, this thing has been missold, and that already is a very small number of people who actually end up realizing it. So how do you kind of get to the customers to the very end point?
Great. So first, I'll touch upon the last point you said. So the misselling is mammoth, and it's increasing every year. So people do get to know at certain point of time that they've been missold, but because they know they cannot do anything, the only thing they can do is file a complaint. But if the policy has done more than 15 days free look period, nothing can be done, or nothing happens, I would say, or they're not able to articulate their complaint. That's a bigger problem. जब आप अपनी complaint बता ही नहीं पाओगे, so how would the person solve? So that's first problem. Second is, like what you said, that was one of the biggest challenge for Insurance Samadhan. How do we reach out to people and say that we exist? There is a company which is trying to solve this biggest problem in the industry. So either you burn tons of money, which wasn't our way, or second was penetrate organic way. So what we started doing was, and all thanks to our customers, whenever we solve a problem, we would our customers would be in awe of us, because they've lost their 100 rupee without their any effort. They've got that money back, so they became our face. They became our brand ambassador. They started giving us their testimonials. Believe me, if you see the testimonials on our website, you would be really amazed the way people talk about us. The way they share their stories कि उनके साथ क्या हुआ और कैसे हमें मिले और हमने कैसे solve किया. So they became the brand ambassador, and then a lot of referrals came in. They start spreading the word, and gradually that's how we started building up. We did so we write our own blogs. We could not find a blog writer in the industry who could write a blog for us, because we are on the other side of the table. So we create our own content, we write our own blogs, we create education series. So all that put together worked for us, and end of it, I would say, okay, then niyat achhi hoti hai, so things start happening for them. So it was all about intent and the amazing team we have, and then even more amazing customers who became our brand ambassador.
Definitely. So I think the best marketing is word of mouth, and if you are able to do the right things with the right intent for people, automatically it's going to come back to you as karma, and more and more references are going to pour in. And I mean we have definitely been speaking for more than 2 years. I have known you, we have spoken in Fintech Yatran as well. and I've seen how passionate you guys have been, and I'm definitely like, I was not surprised when I saw you on Shark Tank, and I'm like, hey, I've spoken to this guy before, and he's like, when I spoke to you for the first time, I knew like you were really passionate. But till date, I think Sagarika and I both, अगर combine करेंगे तो 2,500 से 3,000 startups से बात करी होगी. Very few ऐसे लोग होते हैं that are passionate for that specific cause और आजू बाजू को कुछ सोचते नहीं है. I would say 1.5% people would be like that. And those few are very rare, and like those are like guaranteed success. Currently, the future, whatever, they are going to succeed because वो passion जो है ना, वो, as Avishant would put it, जो आग होती है अंदर, वो अगर आग है, and if you're solving in the right way, it works out, right? So that said, what I wanted to understand from you is, see, mis-selling and all of that has been a hassle when the industry is manual, right? Manually जाके sell कर रहे हो. How do you think the tech-led revolution that's coming in, like in the Insurtech, the APIs that are coming out, or people like Policy Bazaar, where insurance can be insurances, can be actually compared. People like Ditto Insurance, who are now actually giving real advice, good advice, or else that's what I've heard. I haven't experienced it myself, but yeah, they are also giving good advice and all of that. So, how do you think this segment would evolve moving forward with tech-led interventions?
So one, Shreyas, yes, this industry has picked technology very late, but a lot is happening. I would say, see, please understand. As of today, the 3% of insurance in our country is sold via technology. Primarily is face to face. You can say is I don't think so. It will be ever fully technology when it comes to selling. If you see globally in Western world, the insurance again is tech-led, but primarily sold face to face, because it's a very personal decision. I can't talk to you on the camera and make you realize that what stress, if you die tomorrow, what will your family do? It's a very personal and emotional and selling which has to do with the family. So ये एक personal portfolio होता है. So उसके लिए and large ticket size insurances, I don't think so will be able to they'll be sold primarily using technology. If you see when you go to any platform to buy insurance, आप क्या खरीदते हो? अगर मैं आप दोनों से पूछूंगा, आप अपनी मोटर इंश्योरेंस खरीदते होगे, आप अपनी हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस शायद खरीद लेते होगे, आप अपनी टर्म इंश्योरेंस खरीद लेते होगे, बट पूरा जो अगर पोर्टफोलियो की बात करेंगे, यू वुड नीड समबडी who's, because insurance is a long term product. You need somebody to service you. So that's why I don't think so there will be ever a situation that 100% insurance is being sold on platforms or technology. It will be a hybrid channel. That's how it will work. And mis-selling is deep rooted. Again, see the Western world. Insurance Samadhan may be the only one as of now in India solving this problem. It's an industry in US. So there are many companies there who are organized. It's an organized industry there, and they are solving this problem of mis-selling or claim rejection. So this will keep growing. The penetration in our country is just a single digit right now. So the more insurance is sold, this will keep growing as per me.
Definitely. Taking a step back, I talked about tech-led distribution and sales. But when you talk about mis-sales, right, majority of it, when it happens manually, it happens because salespeople are incentivized on numbers of policies sold, right? Do you think there is a fundamental flaw in the way they are incentivized because of which mis-selling is happening? And if you were to, let's say, restructure the manual process, right? Because in rural India, tech-based insurance is not gonna come for at least a decade. So if you were to restructure the manual process so that mis-sellings would reduce, how would you do that?
Very interesting. So Shreyas, when I was an advisor, so we used to have very frequent meetings with the management, and believe me, I very proudly say that Max is one of the best companies to work with, and today also that's how they build their brand. So we would talk to the management, and I would be one of the rare people who would say the first thing you should do is reduce commissions. And reduce commission means divide the commission. So what happens in our industry? So first year commission is highest. It can be anywhere between 30% to 80%. And the second year, either it is 0% commission or it varies between 2% to 10% or 7%. So right. I used to advise, इसको divide कर दो, इसको 10 साल में divide कर दो. So when as a seller, I know that I'll be gaining every year. I would by default try and move towards understanding the product more and explaining the product more and selling it right way, because then I know my association is a long term. So that's part one. Like you said, it's very rightly that has to change, but I don't think so. That change can come very easier sooner, because again, see a mature industry, Western world. There are products in Western world wherein if the policy is for 100 rupee, the commission is 105 rupees.
Wow.
So वो fundamental see, because insurance policy का जो profitability है ना, वो long term है. A company would gain in their fifth, sixth, seventh or eighth year. So उसमें fundamental disconnects तो हैं, but that's how it is, and that's one part of the one major reason why mis-selling happens. I would say second is it's a very complex product, very boring product. I would say the buyer doesn't want to understand in detail. The seller, very less sellers really understand the product and they know how to sell. Portfolio planning बहुत लोगों को आती ही नहीं है. I'll give you an example. 99% sellers in our country would not know Stridhan kisko bolte hain, Married Women Property Act kisko bolte hain. It is such an important act for people who are businessmen. So you just have to sell that concept, but लोगों को concept ही नहीं पता. So so it is, because a lot of people don't even see themselves that मैं इस industry में रह के अगले 10 साल advisor रहूंगा. So एक वो mindset change होना जरूरी. जब when I know I'm here for long term, like when I left my job as a AVP, I was at the peak of my career. I knew मैं इस industry में long term रहूंगा. So when I started selling, I knew when I am selling to Sanjay Agarwal, I have to be handling his portfolio for till time either he lives or till time I am living. So वो thought process आना जरूरी है. That has to change. And then second, as I said, technology will play a very vital role. It is playing a very vital role. AI is playing a great role in understanding the portfolios of the customer. But eventually, the complexity of product of seller and buyer is another reason why mis-selling happens.
Understood.
And I think I have two questions for you interrelated to each other. One is that you mentioned global level पे भी काफी mis-selling होता है, right? And of what being Indians, what we have heard growing up is that because हमको कम financial knowledge है, penetration कम है, insurance product का ज्ञान नहीं है सबको, इसके लिए यहाँ पे ज़्यादा mis-selling होता है. I'd love to understand from you कि global level पे what is the scenario? Does the mis-selling happen as often as it does in India? And if yes, what is the claim redressal or settlement tech enablement global versus India?
So first, yes, कम होता है. उसका reason क्या है? That the awareness is more there. Then obviously the awareness from the government side is a lot. Second, वहाँ पे ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि the entry to insurance is not as easy. वहाँ पे जैसे यहाँ पे you have to give an exam to become an insurance advisor, or you have to give an exam to become a broker, spend a lot of money as a broker. So in Western world, it is not as easy to enter the industry. It is not as easy to exit the industry. So one of the reason is that. Second, here the penetration is so low that people who are buying insurance don't give that importance to this product. So they don't want to put an effort to understand. Similarly, as I told you on the seller side also, it's not this way in Western world. And it's a cycle. So let me talk about Africa and Middle East. Mis-selling and fraud is as big there as it is in India. So it is to do with the stage in which that country is in, how importance the government is giving to importance to insurance. Like in India now, government is also pushing insurance through Ayushman Bharat. So it has to. It's a very, very important pillar for any country. So it is to do with how much government is pushing this, how much the entry point has to be difficult, the exit point has to be as difficult. So it has a lot of reasons why mis-selling in Asian country is more than Western country. They are mature countries. They have come up the curve. They've seen the entire cycle, and hence in US, the total insurance companies are 5,926. 6,000 के करीब इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज है यूएस में. पॉपुलेशन कितनी है? 1/4 of what India has. इंडिया में कितनी इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज है? 58. अगर मैथ करोगे तो कितनी होनी चाहिए? 24,000. अगर वहां 6,000 into 4 24,000 होनी चाहिए ना, और 58 है. So there's a curve. Obviously, gradually it is a lot of things are fixing, but as I said, the problem is so mammoth. It will take one. Mis-selling will always happen globally. वो कहते हैं ना, एक basic human trait है कि वो लालच में या मैं कुछ खरीद लेता हूँ या लालच में किसी ने मुझे बेच दिया. It's both ways. I hope I was able to answer your question. Actually, I'm too passionate about insurance, so मैं बहुत सारी बातें इकट्ठे बोलता रहता हूँ when somebody talks to me about insurance.
Perfectly okay. The second set of question I think was कि अगर ये इतना सारा mis-selling होता है in India versus global, तो what is the tech gap when it comes to claim settlement or redressal, grievance redressal and stuff like that? Or I mean, मैंने तो ज़्यादा देखा नहीं है कि इंडिया में उसमें tech enablement आया है अब तक, but आया भी है तो what is that level up to which it has come, and how do you see going ahead changes happening in that area?
So you are very right, Sagarika. Tech enablement अब आ रहा है. As I told you that this industry has picked tech very late. Because of its legacy system, but there are reasons to that also. उसमें भी tech enablement में भी the first tech has been picked towards selling insurance, toward penetration of insurance. So now obviously there are various startups which are which have plug and play products which are helping processing their claims faster. And then there are startups like us, Insurance Samadhan, or startups like Claim Buddy, Sure Claim, Bima Garage, Claim Therapist, Claim Consultants. So ये सब जो claims की sites पे अपना tech use करके they are helping the customer. I think it is very important that the space on side of the customer has to be built very well, जिसमें हम सब आते हैं. Wherein we are on the side of the customer. That we are helping the customer in filing their claim. If their claim gets rejected, we are helping customers in re-representing their claims. So this tech is, I think, building very fast.
Makes sense.
Got it. So when you look at this entire industry, moving forward, let's say 5 years down the line, there will be more and more digital distribution, digital first insurance companies like Acco, Digit, and all those guys. What do you think needs to be done first from two different perspectives? One is from core industry perspective, agar kuch restructuring karna hai, some processes needs to be managed. That is the first piece. And secondly, from a regulatory perspective, what do you think needs to be set as ground rules before these digital first companies start pouring in and start capturing the underpenetrated 97% of the market?
So let's talk about regulatory first. See, our regulator is very progressive. That's one fantastic thing. Second is they're very clear about one thing. Any changes which happen in the industry, chahe tech-driven changes or chahe policy-driven changes or new age insurance coming in, they're very clear that the interest of policyholder has to be protected. So वो बहुत clear focus है, and that's the reason I think a lot is happening also from their end. They keep inviting new ideas. They're very progressive. So that's part one when you talk about regulatory angle. When you talk about what has to change, I think one, products have to be simplified. As I told you, बहुत complex, बहुत boring product है. There's a saying universally, insurance is never bought, it is always sold. The reason is very simple. कोई सुबह उठ के ये नहीं सोचता चलो आज insurance खरीदते हैं, because it is a need of an hour. So because it's a boring product, complex product. So पहले तो the products have to be simplified. That's one. And I think there are some push which is happening from all angles. Second, I think the need-based sales, which doesn't happen at all. Need-based का मतलब है first we need to understand the profile of the customer. What is their need? So there's a concept again called dying too soon and living too long. So which means are you insured enough if something happens to you today? So the need-based selling, simple product, these are few efforts, and these are not very difficult efforts to put. So these are very important, and as I said, very important from the government side also, which is happening to an extent. The importance of insurance has to be pushed and made. People need to understand, and this should start from school. जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, mass loss theory हमने पढ़ी थी स्कूल में, उसमें लिखा है कि basic need of a human being is food, clothes and shelter. I would suggest उसमें push कीजिए to protect in these three needs. Insurance is important.
Right.
So people would understand why insurance is so important, because basic human need को protect करना जरूरी है.
Definitely, that does make a lot of sense. And when you're looking from a, let's say, more from an industry perspective, as we discussed about how insurance is specifically sold, right? So, wo sub changes do you think will actually make an impact if actually done? And how do you think if those kind of changes are to be made, how would one go about doing that, like an industry-wide change?
See, again, first of all, so if you talk about these changes, as I told you, that some efforts are, obvious, some efforts are being seen. It is, I think, new age insurance companies are doing, and old traditional insurance companies are picking technology to use this. So, for example, to understand the customer's profile, insurance companies are using intelligence and understanding and proposing the customer that this is a kind of product you should be buying from understanding their profile or the products they have. One important, I think, step which has to be taken is sharing the database within each other. So all the insurance companies should share the database of the customer so that they understand this particular customer, what kind of insurances he or she has, so that underwriting happens in a right way. The customer is sold the right product. And then by default the person who's selling would know what to sell and the person who's buying would know what to buy.
Definitely. So I think second piece जो है उसका जो आपने बोला basically one company should know what the other person, the customer has. Account aggregator is probably one platform that will enable that in the near future, but बाकी का I think it will be a lot more L&D and training and development, the right kind of practices put into industry to develop.
That is happening. So if you see, trainings do happen, Shreya, in this industry. But again, understand people who are selling, 95% people who sell, they leave industry within first 3 years.
Okay.
Up life insurance product को pick कीजिए. The average on a lower side average age of a life insurance product is 10 years. 10 years to 99 years. और जो आपको बेच रहा है वो 3 साल में निकल गया है. So that's why काम जो है ना बहुत सारे एंगल पे होना है. Nobody should be just able to enter the industry and sell insurance just like that. I keep giving this example. If you pick up the best professions in the world, startup को छोड़ देते हैं, जो traditional professions है, engineering, doctory, professors, teachers, जो भी top professions, scientists, on an average they spend 3 to 6 years studying that, and then they spend another decade to reach a level जहाँ पे उनको लगता है yes today I have arrived. Insurance में क्या है कि 1 महीने की training हुई, and training of a person who is coming from any walk of life. एक engineer भी training कर रहा है, 10वीं पास भी training कर रहा है, एक retired भी वो training कर रहा है, and then after 30 days you're pushed in your natural market and say go and sell. How do you expect? And this is the most difficult product to sell. So we got to start from there. Learning and development बहुत अच्छी हो रही है, सारी कंपनीज पैसे खर्च करती है, बट किसको सिखा रहे हो आप, किसको पढ़ा रहे हो? उसने 3 साल के अंदर निकल जाना है. 65% people leave within first 12 months.
Understood.
That makes a lot of sense, man. All I have been doing since past 40 minutes is catching up on the fun facts that you're providing upon insurance. It's a very, very interesting stats, yes. I think to just wrap this up, or one last question that I was very curious about was, how was your experience at Shark Tank? I mean, I remember you coming and all of my family was watching, and I'm like, hey, I've met them. How was your experience at Shark Tank? Yeah.
So so we had A lot of fun because we knew what we are there for. We knew our basics were right. The three of us knew, what has to be presented, how it has to be presented. And best was when out of five sharks, two of them, they said that they have experienced this problem. So, you immediately connect and they immediately connect with you. And then five of them realize that this is a massive problem we are solving. And then obviously they had their own set of questions, own set of thought processes. But believe me, we never knew that, post Shark Tank, this is a kind of larger than life experience we would have. We knew because see, I've been following Shark Tank since 2010, जब से US में शुरू हुआ है. So I had some idea how it works. I had an idea that it changes your business. It gives you a good explanation or orbit change situation हो जाता है आपके business के साथ. But what beautiful happened with Insurance Samadhan was it was not only business. Our inbound queries or customer calling increased many folds. So like you were saying, Sagarika, how people find you. The moment country got to know something like this exists, that night when we were featured on 25th, we had decided कि हम अपना IVR 12 बजे तक on रखेंगे. Normally हमारा IVR 8 बजे बंद हो जाता है, just to experiment. None of us could see Shark Tank on that night because we started getting calls at 9:45. The first call came. जब पूरा episode भी नहीं हुआ था. Last call was at 2:15 in the morning.
Wow.
And we realized next day, 26 January, tha, so me, Shilpa, and Ravi thought, let's meet in the office. And then, since then, the IVR hasn't stopped. We constantly are getting called. So that happened. But what amazing happened was that people from all over the world called us just to congratulate and thank us. An elderly person from Denmark called us and said, I just want to give you blessings. I'm a retired person. I cannot offer you anything. I cannot do anything for you, but just called you to say, great job and blessings for this business. And we got calls from government departments. We got called from retired people. We got called from people who have retired from the industry that, how can we add value? And all of them were commercial. Baat hi nahi karni hai. It is the cause you're doing. We would like to be associated with you. People from industry called. We would have received more than 400, 500 CVs saying that we want to work with you. कैसे हमें fit कर सकते हो, कहाँ fit कर सकते हो, आप देखो. People said, I'm ready to come down on my package, but I want to work with you. Two very important profiles which we have filled. I would like to say this. I was looking for product manager. We would have met more than 40, 45 people. Couldn't relate to anyone. The lady who has joined us, she approached us seeing Shark Tank. That, I want to solve this problem with you. So those things have happened. I think that's a blessing, and that's I think I was telling you initially. It's about intent, and rest, profit, top line, bottom line. I think these are byproducts. They happen.
This is brilliant. I mean, the kind of effects and the kind of chain reactions that you mentioned. I mean, I wouldn't have probably thought कि इतना ज़्यादा impact इस तरीके से होता है. Yes, Sagarika, sorry, you were saying something. I cut you off.
No, I was saying, I think along with intent, like Shreyas was earlier mentioning, the kind of passion that you have for solving this particular problem is what also brings a lot of things together. And way to go.
Thanks. Yes, way to go. So I'll quickly share that, currently we've been giving a solution, which is the end of the entire insurance journey cycle, which is grievance management. Now we are upgrading ourselves to a product and coming at the start of the journey. So हम अब बोल रहे हैं कि आपके साथ वो event हो जाए, आप मुझे ढूंढोगे, मैं आपको ढूंढूंगा. Let's not do that. Let's just be part of your journey from the day one when you either buying a policy or you bought a policy. And we would be with you, use our app, and we would give you services like claim filing. You want to change your nominee address. You want to, understand, decode your policy. So one of the biggest feature which we think will be a disruptive feature, nobody in the world has come up with this feature, is check the quality of your insurance. So आप दोनों को पता है जो आपने इंश्योरेंस लिया है, can you 100% guarantee के you are sure that आपको claim मिलेगा?
नहीं.
Nobody has.
No.
If you use this feature, it will go through your policy with this intelligence and it will find the error. Error find करके उस error को fix करके आपको बताएगा whether there's a misselling or not, and if it is not, then it will fix the error so that you are at least assured आपको claim मिलेगा tomorrow, God forbid claim comes. So this is a feature we are coming up with a maximum a month's time. So we would be part of everybody's 300 million people have policies in our country. 20 million are added every year. We would be part of all these people very soon. And USP remains same. We would never sell insurance.
That is brilliant. I mean, this is an
Interesting.
amazing feature to have. Would love to have access to it once it's live.
Soon.
Do you have an iOS app or anything?
So we have come with APK right now. It's under testing. So iOS and Android both.
Awesome.
Definitely.
And we would be talking to our customers in regional languages, so that even people deep south or northeast or maybe eastern world who do not understand Hindi or English, they can also have access.
That's actually something that a lot of companies miss out on, specifically B2C companies को ये करना चाहिए, and I'm glad that you guys are doing.
हम already हिंदी में बात करते हैं because a large geography can be covered by just speaking. So our website is in Hindi. Whenever we communicate with our customer, they always get Hindi and English communication. चाहे वो hello भी हो तो नमस्कार साथ में जुड़ जाएगा. So that's the kind of thought process we have, and we will also add other languages.
No, bilkul. I think this inclusivity will help you reach out to a larger mass. I'm like, that's superb. And looking forward to your app release on iOS. I'll definitely download it as soon as it's out.
Sure.
And it was really great having you, Deepak. I mean, this was really insightful. जो सोचा था उससे भी ज़्यादा काफी जानकारी and काफी ज्ञान मिला. I'm like really glad and like super stoked to learn about your SharkTech experience. And I'm gonna be keeping my eye on you guys. I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna be the next unicorn in a couple of years. So yeah, way to go. And thanks a lot for joining us. It was
thanks to both of you. It was lovely talking to both of you. And believe me, not saying because you both are here, I'm a big fan of FinTech Yatra, a big fan. Especially the way you conduct yourself, the way you cover the geography. So great. Kudos to you.
Definitely. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Take care. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.